Beneath the dunes lies a city so perfectly preserved that archaeologists didn't believe it was real until they brushed away 800 years of sand. The Sahara doesn't give up its secrets easily. For centuries, traders and nomads crossed those endless golden waves, knowing that somewhere beneath their feet lay entire civilizations, thriving marketplaces, grand mosques, homes where families once gathered around evening fires. But the sand erases memory. It buries stories, and it keeps them hidden until someone patient enough, curious enough, decides to listen to what the dunes are trying to whisper. In the late 19th century, French explorers began mapping routes across West Africa, and they noticed something curious. Local guides spoke of ruins, walls, towers, entire quarters swallowed by dunes, but they didn't speak of them with wonder. They spoke of them with the kind of certainty that comes from living alongside ghosts. These weren't legends. These were neighbors. The city of Timbuktu emerged first from the historical fog. Founded in the 12th century, it became one of the wealthiest and most learned cities in the world, a place where scholars from across Africa and the Islamic world gathered to study, to trade, to build. By the 1600s, Timbuktu housed over 100,000 people. It had mosques that rivaled any in Cairo or Cordoba. And then, very slowly, the trade routes shifted. The city's importance faded. The dunes began their patient work, but Timbuktu was only the beginning. As archaeologists pushed deeper into the Sahara, they uncovered something that changed everything. Near the Niger River, buried under more than 1,000 years of sand, lay Djenné-Jeno. This city was older than Timbuktu, older than most European capitals. It had thrived for more than 1,500 years, completely unknown to the outside world. The archaeologists didn't know what they'd find when they began digging. That's what makes this story so strange to tell. They were working with fragments, pottery shards, traces of walls, the ghost marks of streets in the soil. They couldn't see the whole picture. Not yet. Not until they'd spent months, years, carefully removing layer after layer of sand and time. What emerged was extraordinary. Djenné-Jeno wasn't built all at once. It grew organically, neighborhood by neighborhood, generation by generation. Houses were made of mud brick, the same technique still used in West Africa today. The streets curved naturally, following the contours of the land. Markets occupied the center. Workshops lined the edges. It was a living, breathing city, frozen in time. The people who lived there were traders, artisans, scholars. They worked with gold, with salt, with iron. They created pottery so refined that it rivals fine ceramics from anywhere in the world. They buried their dead with care, with ritual, with the kind of attention that speaks to deep spiritual belief. And then they were forgotten. The dunes took over. History moved on, but there were others. Further east, in what is now Mali and Mauritania, lay Kumbi Saleh, the capital of the ancient Ghana Empire. Not the modern nation, but a kingdom that controlled the gold trade for centuries. Its wealth was legendary even in medieval Europe, where stories of African riches seemed almost mythical. Kumbi Saleh wasn't mythical. It was real, and the sand was keeping it safe. Each city told the same story, but with different details. Otakust, Arayayuan, names that most people have never heard, cities that shaped the medieval world. They were centers of learning and commerce. They were crossroads where different worlds met. And they were so completely buried that it took centuries for anyone to believe they'd existed at all. What's remarkable about these cities isn't just their age or their sophistication. It's what they reveal about a part of the world that European historians largely ignored. For centuries, the narrative was that Africa was timeless, unchanging, without cities or empires or intellectual traditions. The dunes were keeping the truth hidden. The sand was patient. And when it finally gave up its secrets, it rewrote history. Today, these sites face a different kind of erosion. Climate change is making the dunes shift faster. Looting threatens to scatter artifacts before archaeologists can document them. The very process of excavation, necessary as it is, disturbs the delicate balance that's kept these cities preserved. The sand that buried them is also the sand that's protected them. Remove it, and you expose these fragile remains to time and weather and human hands. The Sahara keeps speaking if we listen carefully enough. Every grain of sand has been touched by history. Every wind carries whispers of cities that were magnificent, that were real, that mattered deeply to the people who built them. The dunes aren't erasing the past. They're preserving it, holding it gently, waiting for us to be patient enough to understand. So the next time you think of the Sahara as empty, as barren as a place where nothing happened, remember that beneath your feet, entire worlds are sleeping. Cities are dreaming. And somewhere, an archaeologist is brushing away sand, listening to what the dunes are trying to tell us about who we were and who we might become. Subscribe for more gentle journeys through forgotten places. Each week, we explore another corner of the world that history almost left behind.